According to the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which both Obama and Romney support, the agreement requires criminal enforcement for copyright infringement that goes beyond the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, causing the same constraints as SOPA, the Stop Online Piracy Act. Did you support SOPA, or were you concerned about it? And should we be concerned about TPP having the same effect? And by the way, Ron Kirk, the U.S. Trade Representative, denies that there are any similarities between SOPA and TPP, yet that the TPP is consistent with all the trade documents we've seen in the last 20 years. In fact, Ron Kirk insists that these trade agreements should be discussed in secrecy and outside the public's purview. Your thoughts?
My thoughts are, in a democracy, secrecy would be illegal, as would bribing our federal officials and members of Congress, and including the White House. They're all getting bribed by tens of thousands of lobbyists from private corporations, and it doesn't matter which country they're from. Corporations are multinational. The only thing they care about is making money for their management team and maybe, if they're lucky, their shareholders. The fact is, it's all based on greed, and it is why we are in the terrible mess we are in, because we're letting greed run everything. It seems the only thing we care about is protecting the profits of corporations and not taking care of our own people. It's why we have poisoned every man, woman, and child on this planet. And if we continue with this business as usual, we don't have to worry much about the future because we're not going to have one. We're all going to become extinct along with the bees, the cats, and the fish in the oceans if anybody bothers to care about these things.
Harry, Harry, I hate to say it, but you do repeat yourself quite a bit. And what I'd like to see you do is we have to talk about important things like SOPA being very similar to this TPP Act. And I get your story, but no. What I'm saying is, if you repeat yourself and you say the same, almost the same things in the answer to all the questions, I understand the problem is the same for everything. But what I'm saying is, if you address SOPA, or if you address this TPP in relationship to SOPA, then people will start seeing that this greed is affecting specific parts of their lives. Like with TPP, they won't be able to use the internet for free anymore. They're going to start having to pay their ISP, or they're going to have to pay every time they download something on the internet. So if you give people a framework for understanding how their rights are being taken away from them, they will see that that translates from the greed all the way down to their pocketbook at home. And I think that that connection is vitally important for people to make. And when you launch into a diatribe that repeats the same diatribe you've said almost, I would say 50% of your answers, people shut you off. So I want you to see how I'm trying to help you be as reach out to the consumer or the customer or the American or the citizen or the person who's sitting at home watching you on the computer, and reach into their pocketbook so that they see how they're being affected. Because some people don't care about the environment, but people do respond very much so to having their internet usage being taxed, so to speak, by these corporations that are forcing this.
You run your campaign your way, and I'll run mine my way, because I very much resent what you're saying. I don't think you know what you're telling me that people care more about whether they're going to get on the internet or whether they're going to die from cancer from being poisoned.
That's absolutely right.
I don't think most people even are aware of the blood levels of poisons that they're carrying, because they don't read the scientific literature. They're technically illiterate. We have a terrible education system in this country.
I hope you don't mind me putting this on. I'm going to put this up online, this conversation we're having.
Fine, put it online. I'm happy to, because I think the issues of creating billions of dollars. Excuse me. creating trillions of dollars of healthcare costs that, according to David Walker, the former Comptroller General of the United States, they alone are bankrupting the United States. And these other little issues you want to talk about aren't going to make a whit of difference in the outcome of trying to save the only planet.
This is just going on and on.
But this is a good point. Actually,
So
Harry,
time on nonsense.
no, I think this is a good point.
Really, your nonsense, Andre.
Oh, no.
No, you didn't listen to any nonsense. See, now you're bringing me into something.
No, that's not
and
right.
The only thing I was getting ready to say, listen, the only thing I was going to say
You're the one
was
that mentioned
I don't really, I don't really want to, and I didn't say anything about nonsense, so don't point it at me. All I'm saying is, no, I didn't. I didn't say anything.
No, it's okay.
I said this is nonsense. What's going on right now? We're having a discussion, and this is not what a debate is about. And listen, I understand that you believe that this is an important subject matter, and believe me, I agree with you wholeheartedly, because I have been reading all of the different articles about the levels of poison that have been put in our soil, the type of radiation that's actually accumulating in our earth, and all of the birth defects that are occurring because of it. I understand. But I know also what Judy is saying, and she's saying that, hey, we have specific topics that we're talking about. And if we address those, we can hit all of them. And at one time, we'll get to the subject matter that you're talking about. Yes, it is important. It's very important. Life is the most important thing in our lives because it is what our life is. But we're in a debate, and she's trying to point out certain issues to the American public and address those issues of the time that people are seeing every day. The American public, you're right, they are not fully aware of everything that's going on. But what they are aware of, we want to catch their attention on. We want to enlighten them on that subject matter so that they understand and they say, hey, you know what? We don't have to just listen to CNN, Fox, or the...
Oh, no.
There's other people that are knowledgeable of all of these situations.
Right.
Do I get my 60 seconds?
Well, hold on a second. Sure. Because before, I actually think this is the most... What we're doing right now is the most important thing because you're both very passionate about what you're doing. But I want Andre to answer the question, and so I'm going to phrase it again. According to the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which both Obama and Romney support, the agreement requires criminal enforcement for copyright infringement that goes well beyond the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, causing the same constraints as SOPA. And are you concerned about it?
I'm very concerned. One of the things is that everyday people are utilizing and reutilizing the ideas that they find on the internet on a daily basis. That's where we get new ingenuity from, all of these new engineered ideas and the betterment of products that we have right now. I myself, now, yes, I worry about copyright infringement because I have 4 patents of my own that are now in place. And if somebody were to steal those patents, I would lose money on them. But at the same time, for those things that have been out on the market for some period of time, music that's downloaded, TV shows, when people are looking just for information, students, when they have to download information for their studies, these are things that we have to have, and we cannot prohibit our society in a way that really deters the betterment or advancement of our society. That's one of the things. Even China doesn't do that. Now they may, China, the United Emirates, Germany, anywhere. Nobody restricts what people as far as their developers can download. China steals all of our information all the time. So copyright infringement to them, it would still be a joke. They don't enforce anything now. Why would we really restrict our people by putting measures in place that only we are going to follow?
Okay, that's a good point. Now, Harry, on the issue of SOPA, you have 30-second rebuttal. Not SOPA so much as TPP and how it acts as like SOPA.
Well, as I will say again, that I believe in putting the majority of citizens in charge of these issues, in which case this whole subject would radically change because the majority of citizens would never go along with any of this. I don't care what President Obama thinks, and I don't care what Governor Romney thinks. I care what the majority of American people think, and that's why I'm pushing very hard. I'm running for this office to inform the American public about these critically serious issues and not get them bogged down in technical minutia that they're going to nod off on. And the question you just asked is one of those.
Okay, I'm
we
glad.
have an explosion of information to deal with, and it's important to try to determine what are the most important things we can talk about in the short time that we have in a 60-second response.